Hi, you guys, and welcome back to Talkin' Smack. I am so excited, you guys. This is part two with Allison and Tyler. So, about a year ago, I did an episode with them talking about their travels. They had been traveling for, was it almost a year?
Yeah, at that point, it was almost a year.
Yep.
And now you guys are a whole nother year of travels. You guys got married. Your wedding was so beautiful. And so I'm really excited to talk to you guys about like, where are you now? How was your travels? Where did you go the second leg of the trip? And I want to also talk about your collabs that you guys have been doing.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Mackenzie. We're happy to be back here. Crazy to think we last spoke on here a year ago. And yeah, we left corporate America to go travel for 6 months and turned into 2 years. But yes, we're excited to be here and chat with you about some of those details. We did get married in between as well. But Tyler, I don't know. Do you want to talk about like after the wedding, why we didn't settle back down and what happened?
Yeah, I think we kind of, well, to be frank, we just wanted to continue to travel. We had, we had to do a honeymoon, of course. So why not make the honeymoon 9 to 10 months long? So
Backpacking style.
And we also saw like we knew South America was like that next part of our journey. We had already done Europe, Africa, and a lot of Asia. So South America was just kind of there, right? We got to do it. And then we saw on Skyscanner it was like $180 direct flight to Cartagena, Colombia. So we kind of just ended up pulling the trigger, telling our families, and we were off like a couple weeks later. Yeah.
Okay, so Skyscanner, do we have to download? Is that an app? Do we need it? What is it?
Yes.
It's the best from my standpoint. It's the best for buying flights and whatnot. It just kind of compares all the different. It pulls in all of the online businesses and different airlines together and lets you get the best bang for your buck. And there's like no ads too, which is great. Yeah,
I love that. That's so cool.
But it's great.
Yeah.
I have never heard of that before. So I actually have never been to Europe. I've never been to I've been to Bali and Canada and Mexico. I'm like very interested. Yeah, right. I'm very interested in doing these travels. And like for our listeners, I know so many people are like, oh my gosh, this is on my bucket list. I want to do these things. And I know last time I asked you guys like what your favorite place was, and you guys are like, Kenzie, you cannot ask me that question. But of the places that you recently visited, so where did you start? And let me just start with this. How many countries have you guys been to now?
On this 2-year travel leg, we went to 41 countries.
Yes.
That is
5 continents. Yeah. It was no words of how amazing it was. Yeah.
That is so cool. So this last leg, okay, so you started in Colombia, and of course I follow you guys on Instagram, so I get to see all the behind the scenes, like what's going on, all these amazing places you guys are in. So what are all the places that you guys went to, and did you have like a top 3 list of where you guys went?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, at least you made it a little bit smaller there. It's overwhelming when people ask, what was your favorite country? And it's so hard because each country, honestly, we've loved for different things. There's not one of the countries that we went to in the past 2 years where we were like, we didn't like that country. We truly loved something about every country. So it is hard. But I think if we kind of think about our last leg, which was South America and Central America, and as you mentioned, we started in Colombia and we kind of made our way around South America, kind of ended up back in Central. So we did Colombia. That had great energy. It was so fun. Kind of reminded us of some vibes of Brazil, which is towards the end of our leg of South America. Brazil, just the energy, so fun. We celebrated Carnival there. So that was a really good time. So I think Colombia and Brazil, they've got the energy, the bright colors, just vibrant. Yeah, very vibrant. And then we went into Ecuador and Peru. That was very mountainous. We did lots of amazing hikes. We obviously got to cross off Machu Picchu, the beautiful Rainbow Mountain in Peru as well. Ecuador was just gorgeous and different.
A little more quieter, more chill, easy to get around.
Yeah, it was very easy to get around. And then we did a lot of Patagonia, which we did the Chile side and then the Argentina side.
We spent roughly 2.5, 3 months between the two countries, Chile and Argentina. And one of the best things we've ever done in travels was taking camper van through the Patagonian side of the Chilean Patagonian side. And we did it for roughly 3 weeks in a camper van, just Alison and I. And what makes Patagonia on the Chilean side so amazing is the main way, or pretty much the only way to get down there with a car, is by ferry. So it really limits the number of people that actually go to Patagonia and Chile. You can take flights, like small charter planes, but you have to get, you can't get a camper van. And we did it for almost 3 weeks, and another amazing part about it too is you can camp anywhere. There's no regulations unless there's like a clear, distinct sign that says you can't camp here, but you can just pull off on the side of the road. You find a beautiful scenery, you're like, let's just camp here. And man, it was just
cook your dinner at the car. There's like a little grill in the back, and you would just be staring at this almost fake background, just mountains in Patagonia, like lakes and a beautiful sunset. And you're just, let's stay here for the next, 12 hours or next 24 hours if you want, and cook all your meals there. So that was really amazing. And so that was a key highlight for sure. Just the camper van experience. I've never slept in a car in my life. Like, we had no toilet, Mackenzie, for that long.
Or shower.
So that was a different experience, for me. But we made it work. Really, we stopped at different hostels, or even really there's these fancy modern gas stations called Copec. It's this big chain in Chile, and they have it down because Chile is such a popular place for like road trips because it's so long, and so lots of truck drivers need to stop and shower or refresh.
They're nice showers.
So they were modern, and we would stop at these gas stations, take a shower for like a couple dollars,
grab some snacks, and you keep going.
Yeah, it actually worked out well, which is shocking.
Yeah, I took a shower, and of course on the lake too as well. You got to kind of do what you got.
Glacier water. I did not
very
partake.
Cold, but it was fun.
Yeah, so those are some key highlights. And then I think the only other, I know, Kenzie, you're like, what are your top three? It's like the energy of what I mentioned of like Colombia and Brazil, the Patagonian vibes of Chile and Argentina. And then if I had to pick like a third favorite like bucket like that, I think
it was, I guess, a different category, surprising.
Yes.
So we ended in El Salvador in Central America, and El Salvador does have, or had, a bad rep before. Their president, like 2019, it was extremely dangerous to go to. And that's probably what a lot of people have heard about, is like all the gang violence and whatnot. But their president, the new president, got elected, and he arrested like 40,000 gang members. Don't quote me on this, on the exact numbers. But he put them in jail, and it really turned the country for the better, for tourism especially. So now we also rented a car in El Salvador. If you would have asked me this like a couple of years ago, I would have never ever gone to El Salvador, and especially not rent a car and just drive around the country. That was just a really surprising, amazing country, because there's so many volcanoes, surrounded by volcanoes, and then they're also the coastline has some of the best surfing in the world, and the people there are so friendly. You can say that about pretty much any country, but what makes it special there is they're not used to tourists yet. So they're actually like, they see you, they actually give you a genuinely big smile. So that's like, you can kind of tell the difference between that and like in other countries, right, where they might put a little bit of a fake smile on for you as a tourist, but there it's like genuinely friendly people, and that was a just nice surprise to see.
Yeah, it was.
That's so cool. So I guess my next question too, like, I'm just so curious, when you first leave and you pick your place that you're going to, do you know what's next? Like, do you have like, okay, for the 6 months, like, this is what we have planned out? Or are you like, oh, let's go here next? Or, oh, we ran into other backpackers from this place and they recommended this spot? Or what does that look like for you guys? Because I know on the last episode, we talked about your guys' goals. Like, okay, Allison's picking the Airbnb, she's picking the places, Tyler's booking flights. Like, you guys have got that down. So tell us a little bit about what that looks like in terms of planning something like 6 months out.
Yeah, that's a really good question, because it is more the second portion of what you just said, where you're kind of going along. And we now have friends who live all over the world, and who we met during our travels. So many other couples who are doing something similar, so many solo travelers. And so really you just start chatting. So you go to this country, and then you start chatting with them. What are they doing? Oh, they're actually, taking work off for a month or a year traveling, or they're working remote. And so they're kind of bouncing around similar countries as well in whatever continent they're in. So it was a lot of chatting, a lot of, honestly, Google and TikTok. Those two are fantastic for travel research. It's like how to spend 3 months in South America, or how to spend 1 week in Costa Rica, like how to spend the best 10 days in Peru. And honestly, that is the best. And then when I go to TikTok, it's okay, top 10 restaurants in Cusco in Peru, top 5 hikes in XYZ. So that's kind of how we start to slowly plan. It's the chatting and then just kind of Google research as we go.
Yeah. And I think that we just kind of make that roadmap.
Yeah.
Right. Like you kind of, all the information is out there is what Prince Alison is saying. Right. And like, if you create this general roadmap, and depending on how much time you have, you can kind of create, it makes it a lot easier to have that roadmap. And people are either going the same direction or coming to you, right? There's always the same sort of routes you always end up on. And that's what makes it such a fun experience is all these backpackers, you're going to the same places, you're talking about these experiences you both did, good things and the bad things. And from there, you kind of like picks off on like where you should go next and where you should avoid.
Yes.
The biggest thing is where to avoid too, right? And you can kind of get that information a lot better once you're actually talking with people who've experienced those things,
right?
And just blogs too.
I mean, we never had, like Tyler was saying, the country of El Salvador on our radar. And when we were going through Central America, we did Costa Rica and Panama and Guatemala. I mean, we weren't even thinking about it. And then we met like a couple other couples, this one couple in particular from the Netherlands. They were like, they were going the other way. So like, we just came from El Salvador. Now we're in Guatemala. And we were like, oh, interesting. Like we could pop over to El Salvador next. Why did you love it? And then they told us the key things. Why we love these places. Then we met another traveler who also said the same thing. We were like, we just met like 5 different people who absolutely loved El Salvador. Like we're right here. Like, let's go there. So it's just cool. And you get so surprised by just the amazing people, the amazing culture in all these different countries that you never would have thought about.
And don't plan it all out. It's like, keep it in, like it's just remember, it's going to be okay. Right. If you only have 1 or 2 days planned in advance, like that's totally fine. Like there's always going to be places available. You might not be able to stay in the super cool, high vibe or great vibe hostel, but there's always going to be something there that's going to be safe and great in its own way too.
That's a good point. You kind of learn, Mackenzie, you were also talking about like how maybe long-term travel has changed us or changed different mindsets. And, you're an extremely organized person, and I feel like I'm very organized too in a way. And you kind of learn how to take a step back and let the travels like plan it for you in a way. And, not trying to organize an entire country's route, but maybe taking a step back and, okay, let's plan the first place. So if we're going to Panama, let's plan Panama City. Let's plan a few days there for when we arrive. And then let's kind of think about where we want to go as our next stop and have it in our head. But we're going to talk to people. We're going to meet people. Like Tyler said, there's always going to be Airbnbs, hostels, hotel options. And it's okay if you need to book it the day before. And you just kind of like get used to that. And it works. It always works out.
And it sounds like you have to not that either of you are closed-minded, but you have to be like very open-minded thinking about, hearing you say like, oh, El Salvador would have been an absolute no, like in 2019.
Yeah.
And then you hear experiences of other people and just being open-minded to like, oh, this wasn't even on our list or on our radar. Like, let's go check it out. Like, we're hearing all these good reviews, and like this just like takes my marketing mind back to thinking like how important word of mouth is.
Yeah.
And so for anyone listening thinking about like, oh, I'm just going to market all these things on social media, like word of mouth is still truly going to be the best way to market your business, market yourself, market your Instagram. Absolutely. And that takes me to my next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is you guys have been doing a lot of collabs with hotels, Airbnbs, like all the different places you guys have been going to. And I also want to know, like, how much space does the drone take up in your backpacks? Because that was not on the first leg of the trip, was it?
No, that's a good question. Yeah, speaking of marketing and how we've been trying to market ourselves as, budget traveler couple that others can trust and look to for advice or tips. And we've met, again, so many other different people as well that we follow, other travelers. So I think that really with our travel account in that first leg of our travels, I mean, it was this fun new traveling blog, and we were, sharing all these tips and tricks, just sharing all the different places that we were going to in Europe, Africa, and Asia, and just kind of growing our following. And the second leg, we're like, how do we up this and maybe start to create a business? And we had been seeing a lot of other folks do this on Instagram as well. So we got a drone. That was
number one.
That was number one. And we had a drone for all of South and Central America, which was amazing because it got us these amazing Airbnbs, some resorts. We probably ended up getting about 20 different unique free stays solely because we provided them with drone footage and iPhone footage. Yeah. So this is Mr. Drone. This is the drone guy. I'm the iPhone footage gal. So I do the walkthroughs and get all the details of the aesthetic things inside the Airbnb, inside the place. Tyler is getting all the surroundings of the area that the Airbnb is in. He's making sure he gets how the Airbnb looks from the outside. Him and I standing on the deck or the patio outside and it kind of coming down, showing us staying at the space. So we made... Number one, we used Canva to make a media kit. I know you're very familiar with Canva. And I think you actually recommended it to me years ago, just for marketing things. And we made a media kit. So it has all of our examples in it of the type of footage we can take at an Airbnb or at any accommodation. And we tried to really set ourselves apart with the unique footage we can provide. So then that's where kind of this more sales marketing tactics came in, where we would start to pitch Airbnbs and we would pitch really cool accommodations that we would see. And we tried to look for really unique places in each place. So if we're like, hey, we're going to Panama next week, let's go on Airbnb, let's go on booking.com. Let's go look for some really cool domes or tiny homes or tree houses or just very unique places
that we wouldn't stay in normally.
Yeah,
just out of budget,
that we wouldn't pay for in our normal days, and that would kind of look cool with a drone, etc. So yeah, Alison and Tyler travels Airbnb business, and it's been really amazing. I think if we had to pick our top 3 free stays, definitely in Ecuador when we stayed at this amazing spa resort in the cloud forest, and the drone footage there was so cool. They treated us like we were
royalty,
celebrities. We're trying to find our cleanest backpacking clothes that we have, trying to look really put together there walking around the resort. And then the second one was in Patagonia, this awesome place that had domes and tiny homes. And they had just all this property.
They had a mountain.
Yeah, they had a mountain, and it was just amazing. So we stayed in this little tiny home, in the middle of Patagonia in Argentina. It was incredible. And then I think the third coolest was this awesome tree house that we stayed in El Salvador. We got to take a little ferry to this tiny island and stay in this tree house just in the middle of a forest. And that drone footage there looked so cool as well. So it's been really fun, and we want to keep that up. We want to keep that up just as we're around Seattle and Washington, and as we travel more, we want to take it to the next level.
And the drone size,
yes,
I just had to have it on my shoulder. It's a DJI Mini Pro 3, so it's pretty small. It's the bag itself is not very big, so it's super compact. It's only the drone's only this big, when it's actually folded up and whatnot. So it doesn't take up too much room.
He has a man purse.
It's a little satchel. Yes.
Yeah, it's a satchel.
I love that. That is so cool. And I guess for our listeners and even myself, when it came to pitching Airbnbs and pitching brands? Like, did you have like a template, or did you consult Chat GPT for like a script of what to say? Or was there anything, were there any fears behind pitching yourself? Or did you look at it like, oh, if they say no, they say no, and we'll move on to the next one? Because I know so many of our listeners are like, oh, I want to pitch brands, or I want to start doing this, and I want to pitch, Airbnb, or even restaurants. I know you do this with Seattle Tasty Vibes. Like, there's a lot of fear around rejection there. And then did you guys deal with any of that, or what was your outlook on it to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna send this message, because why not?
Can I just quickly just to start off there is, I think number one thing is gaining the confidence. And so, I mean, Alison did a lot of this, but like from my outside perspective of like kind of like what I think really helped us do was, even though we would still take videos and footage of the Airbnbs we were staying at, even if we weren't getting a collab or whatnot. Like we took like a really cool, like we're in this island hostel in Cartagena. You're like, let's just kind of get some cool footage of this place. So that helps you build that portfolio to gain the confidence to start those pitches. Then I'll transfer over to Alison.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And Kenzie, also, it's like in life, right? It's like we're already us type of people, we're already taking so many pictures of the food on our plates. And when we go to Airbnbs, like we're already taking so many cool pictures and videos. So, which is why it's like for the food on the plates, why I made my Seattle foodie account. And it's kind of with the Airbnb thing too. When we got our drone, we started having so much fun with it, and which helped us build our portfolio. And in our portfolio, it looks like we've stayed at all these amazing places and done collabs, but there are all these places that we stayed at and we just got really good footage at. So then when we were able to use our portfolio in the pitches, they're like, wow, these people know how to take footage of these accommodations. They don't care if we stayed there for free or paid for it. And more to your point on like the confidence and like with the pitching. So I follow other people. In the beginning, I had followed other people who were already doing this, like Airbnb collabs, and I kept seeing it on social media. So I sat in on a couple free webinars. I think from one gal on her, she was selling these digital products for Airbnb collabs. I bought her like $5 template on how to start. Like, how do you reach out to Airbnbs? So I bought her template, kind of changed it up a bit, and then got my own flavor to it. And then him and I brainstormed on like, what do we want? How do we want to frame our pitch? Like, we're a traveling couple traveling around South America. Like we are a lot of places, we would let them know like, hey, we're on our honeymoon. Like we want to frame it up as your dome in the middle of this amazing jungle is the best place to have your honeymoon, or the best, So we just kind of added our own flavor to it. Again, sitting in on those webinars helped, like gaining the confidence. And I mean, I'm in sales. Like, so I kind of, from that practice, use that pitch. And honestly, one of the best things in sales that you can get is just a response. Like, it doesn't matter if it's a yes or a no. Obviously, the yeses are key. But when you get no's, you're like, oh my gosh, I got a response. Like, they said, no, we can't stay at their Airbnb for free and do a collab. But hey, like they read my message and it worked. Like, they acknowledged it. They got back to me. So even if it's a no, honestly, that's a win. I think in sales, a response is a win, and you'll start to get the more yeses as you go, and your confidence gets higher as you get more yeses.
And hearing about like the kind of message that you're sending, from someone who's never been in the corporate world, who's been in sales unknowingly, who doesn't really understand, never went through any formal training. It's almost like you want to frame it in a way of like, I think your space is amazing. Like, this is so beautiful. It's about them. Because I've also sat in on marketing webinars where it's like, here's the difference of what you don't want to do. You don't want to be like, hey, I'm this cool influencer on Instagram. You should give me all these things. It's like, and hearing you also talk about, getting that no. Another podcast I was listening to a long time ago, I think I've referenced this before in another episode, but it's like, if you knew you had to go through 10 pitches, you were going to get 9 no's and you were going to get 1 yes. How quickly would you send those 9 messages and that 10th message to get to that yes? And I think so many people are afraid of even just sending that first message because they don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want that rejection. And most of our listeners in the beauty industry, solopreneurs, they haven't gone through that sales training. They haven't gone through, that other person coaching them being like, hey, it's okay to get a no. It's okay to get that response. Guess what? We're going to learn from that. Or, maybe they will be willing to hop on a 10-minute call to give us feedback on why they said no, so we can get better and learn and grow from that. And it's so fascinating to me that once you start doing those things, or hearing you, Tyler, talk about, get the footage, get all the things together. Yeah, the first couple of videos might be okay, but the more you do it, the better you're going to become at your craft. And the more you send those messages out, the easier that's going to be. And this leads me into wondering, and just out of my pure curiosity, what are you guys doing now? What's the plan? Do you want to go back out and travel? Are you guys wanting to be like, okay, we need to be home for a minute?
So, I mean, I'll be honest, we're in my parents' basement right now, right? But it's so we have a little separate space, so it's good. So we're in the complete figuring it out process. And I think to your point of like what we've learned from travel is like, everything's going to be okay. So like, we're kind of going through the motions right now of like what we want to do. Like I'm helping paint the house right now. Like, so it's completely different, like lifestyles we're going through.
Yeah.
And it's truly, I think the ideal situation would be to get these fully remote jobs that allow us to continue to do what we want to do, because we can't continue to go without, making some sort of income and whatnot. Like it's not responsible. It's not sustainable. So I think that's the next step, right? Is like just, but it's easier said than done. So we kind of just need to get it going essentially, and find those places. And if anybody out there wants to give us a full-time job, we'll do amazing job. We'll kill it. And yeah.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep the flexibility, but also, right. Yeah. It's like we're just trying to find like the easy medium of what we want to do. Like if we want to go back into what we were doing before, we were both at tech companies here in Seattle, and we've learned so much just through our travels and what we like and what we're good at. And so we want to keep growing like Alison and Tyler Travels, and keep our business going. And, while we've been home and Tyler's been painting and, we're trying to make side money right now to like figure out how we want to go into this next chapter. It's like for Alison and Tyler Travels, like continuing some of the UGC stuff, like the user generated content, to make a little bit of money here and there. And we're actually going to go to an Airbnb next week in Canada to do a collab. So, which is super cool. We were pitching folks here at home, and we're going to head to Banff next week. And then we're going to go on this really cool tour as well. Again, exchange for content. So keeping that going, but also we do have to make money again. That's key. We're figuring it out, Mackenzie.
I love it. Well, and I love that you guys are open and honest in saying that, because so many people like either one think everyone else has it all figured out, so they feel like they can't share. Like, I don't have it figured out. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, we're gonna figure it out. And I love that you say like travels helped you kind of build that mindset of, oh, if I don't have it figured out today, like I'm not going to worry about it, because I know it's going to work itself out. I know an idea is going to come to me, or I know a collab, an opportunity, something is going to be right around the corner. But you're also not just sitting on your ass doing nothing. You're also like, hey, let me go get all this content that we can show and we can pitch people. Let me go do all this stuff, because so many people get in that rut and either feel entitled and feel like things should just come to them, or two, they're just so nervous and scared to put themselves out there, and they feel like they're never going to pull themselves out of that. So I love hearing you guys, be vulnerable and honest, like, hey, we don't know what's happening a month from now, but we're going to figure it out, and it's going to work. And I think, maybe it's our age now, or the way that I look at it, like being 30. I know, Alison, you're this month. It's like, who cares? And when we're 15, 16, we're like, oh, by 30, I'm going to have this, that, and the other, and I'm going to do all these things. It's all these material things that we think we need to have to be successful. And I don't know where this mindset came, but I think both of my parents have just instilled it into me, like in, books and podcasts I've read, but it's like success is what you make it. Like whatever successful means to you that's the only thing that's important. And I love that you guys were like, hey, you know what? Let's quit our corporate jobs. Like, let's go do this. Whereas like at that age, because that was what, 26, 27 years old when you guys started planning all of that. And I feel like that's the age where it's like, oh, well, we have to be married and we have to have kids and we need to buy a house and we need the brand new cars and we need to keep up with the Joneses and we need to do all this other stuff. And it's like, is that really what matters? And I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Like, if you feel like you had certain thoughts and then anything changed through your travels.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just you get different perspectives on, you know, what's important to you, and traveling and experiences and memories and just all the incredible experiences that we have had over these past few years is really what makes us grow and help with our happiness and overall just happiness like in life.
I think like I remember like when we were, I think it was 20, whenever I sent you that message.
Oh yeah. In 2019. December.
We sent a message to Allison, you know, work at the day after Christmas.
Sitting at Amazon,
grinding away. And I was like, Allison, let's quit our jobs and travel the world for 6 months.
Like out of the blue.
Yeah. And then she's like, pretty much was like, yes, let's do it. And then it took a couple years to actually go about it. But I guess what I'm getting at is like, at that moment in time, like, if you just step back a little bit and like tell yourself or ask yourself, like, when I'm 40 or 50, am I really going to look back and say, damn, I wish I didn't go travel the world for X amount of time and see all these amazing places and cultures. Like, or should I just be going through, you know, this normal loops and hoops in life? Like, because we were doing great. Like, we're killing it at both of our jobs, got our promotions. Like, everything was going great, right? And I guess like maybe we just got a little scared of getting in this like this routine and like, you know, going to work, after work, go to the gym, after the gym, go eat dinner. Just do this whole like, you know, this loop. And I think that, especially for me, like really started to terrify me a little bit. Like, I was a kid that was spinning the globe and then, you know, would close my eyes and then just put my finger there and be like, and then not necessarily do a lot of research on that place, but like, I want to go there. Right. Like, so having that, I knew I had that open mind, and like, I've been genuinely lucky to found Alison too, who was willing to share those experiences with us or experience those things together. Because again, Alison was absolutely killing her job too. So it's super scary, but you have to understand it's gonna be okay, right? We might be in our parents' basement right now, but like we know what we've just done, and we know like the next steps. It's gonna be incredible too, and whatever that may be.
Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible when we look back at what we've just done, and it's hard to leave I mean, I cried to my boss when I was leaving just because I was, you know, I was so incredibly excited. We were going to fly to Europe and we had one-way ticket. Like, it was amazing, but it was scary because of the change. And you're in this corporate job that, you know, we're making good money and so comfortable. Like, we were both at our same job since the second we graduated college. We were both at our same jobs for 5 years, and it was scary. Like, it would just change and just doing what like our parents and like all the boomers and everybody think is crazy. Like, why would you quit your successful corporate job? You need that to then buy the house and have the kids and get the dogs and all that. So it was terrifying. And like, we put all of our stuff in storage. We ended our lease early and we did all the scary things, but it was so worth it. It was all worth it.
And I think that even like you said boomers, but even the individuals who have gone through this process is like, I don't think there's one person that when we told them what we were doing was like, that's a terrible idea. Like, once you told someone that you're doing that, they're like, good for you.
Wow, I wish I would have done that.
I would literally every time was, wish I would have done that when I was your age. Can't do it when you're older, like type of things like that. And
it solidified everything more.
It was like, oh wow. Like, I thought people would be like kind of judging us like in a way of like, what are you doing? But it was like more of like a kind of a pat on the back. Like, good for you just doing it. Just send it. So I think that's, it's been no words. Like, we have some crazy stories that we've gone through too. And like, we've had some crazy cool memories, some crazy scary experiences too as well. But like, it's just been
amazing.
There's no regrets there.
Wait, I want to hear the crazy story we were talking about a little bit off camera that you said was a long story, but I want to hear it.
All right.
I'm I'm taking us in a different direction now because I remember you said that earlier, and I was like, wait, okay, I do want to hear the story.
Before Tyler gets into it, our whole 2 years was all amazing. Traveling is amazing. Don't be scared to go travel.
Things go
Of
wrong.
course.
What makes you kind of
things that you can handle, and you have to pivot, you communicate, you have to adapt.
And the stories people want to hear, it's just funny, are the ones that like
the crazy
ones that go wrong or something like that.
We did have a recent, very scary, crazy experience happen to our lovely Tyler.
Oh yeah, so to start it off, I was bit by a bat.
Oh gosh, you went straight in.
But so I'll start just to back it up a little bit. We were on an island called Ilha Grande in Brazil. So it's a big island off the coast of. It's not far from Rio de Janeiro, and like 95% or 90% of this island is like just like deep, dense Brazilian jungle. And we went to. There's this high peak that we're gonna climb to. We were looking at. We were like, oh, let's climb to this peak. It's like it's not. We're from the PNW, done a lot of hiking. It's it's no problem. But it's also very hot there, very hot and humid, like 85, 90 degrees and just straight humidity. But we were climbing up to this hike, and like first of all, this is like extremely hard. And we still did it. It was like 4 miles up. All trails told us it was like 2 miles, but it ended up being like 4 miles up. And we were doing it for a sunset hike. Our goal was to get there before sunset, and then just like see the beginning of sunset and head back down. But we ended up getting there at the end of sunset, so it was already getting dark. It was a treacherous climb up, super super steep, like
so hard.
3,000 elevation gain over whatever the 4 miles. So it's just dead straight up. And nobody was on there except for this one like British fellow that was like barefoot by himself with no backpack, no water, which is
super backpacker nomad vibe.
Mind-boggling by itself. But we're the only people there at the end. And we had a hike down we brought headlamps, luckily, just in case we were going to run into the situation. And we had a hike through the jungle, the dense Brazilian jungle, for 4 miles in the pitch black. And when you're in the jungle canopy, like it is pitch black. There's no moonlight coming through there. So it is as dark as it gets. And as we were going down, we saw some crazy spiders, some massive insects. We saw an armadillo. There was only one jaguar on the island, so that's good. So we only one. We never saw it, but there was only one. And then on the way down, Alison like tripped and fell over a log. And we're trying to hurry down too because it's kind of getting a little scary. But
I feel like I would be scared. Especially in the pitch black, I'd be like running, trying to get through it.
You hear like every second, you hear like things like rustling in the bushes to the right and the left of you. Like you're just like, I was loving
hours.
It. I was loving it, but it was for hours. And then I ended up falling down a waterfall, slipped down it was more like it was like a rock, but like there's a rope you're supposed to hang on to, but I couldn't grab it in time or something like that. I fell down this waterfall like 10 or 15 feet, and then didn't really hurt myself, thank goodness. And then we get back down. We finally make it back to the bottom, and we still have probably another mile or so to go, but the road kind of opens up. Mm-hmm. And then I felt something like wrap around my arm right here, and it felt like a tarantula, like kind of like a big tarantula, like instantaneously just like wrapped my arm. I was like just freaked out. I was like, it was almost like, again, pitch black in the Brazilian jungle, just worst like kind of like situation to have that happen. Have Alison kind of check my arm out, see if everything's okay. She's looking at it, she's like, oh, it's nothing there. I was like, okay, phew. And then the next like 2 days later is like when I was like sitting at lunch with my arms on the table, and I kind of see behind my arm there's like this like 2 fang marks, like one kind of like bigger fang and then one like little light fang, but there's kind of like pussing a little bit, and it was not itchy, so I knew it was a mosquito bite. And then I kind of put one and one together. I was like, oh shit, I think I started like going a little bit of panic mode. I was like, that was definitely a bat, because they saw a couple bats flying around us too. And we rushed to the clinic. In the clinic, we're on this island, but we rushed to the clinic, and the doctor kind of like checks us out. I was like, I think I might have got bit by a bat. And he's like, okay, yeah, right. He's like, okay, what? Tell me the story. I told him the story. He's like, oh shit, okay. And they had the nurse like run to the fridge, grab a rabies shot immediately, and then shoot me up with rabies, like a rabies vaccine. And then he's like, you need to get off this island now. I was like, okay. I was like, am I gonna be okay? He's like, I have no idea. I was like, okay.
To hear from a doctor, like
he's saying like, I have no idea. You just got to get the hell off this island. He's like, go to this hospital across the way it's like an Angra del Reis.
Yes, Angra del Reis.
Angra del Reis.
A city in Brazil.
City in Brazil. We have no clue what this place is like. But we're like, all right, panic mode. So we get our bags, rushed off the island, next boat, get off, and then then we get to the city that we're not familiar with, and like generally like you go to in Brazil, you go to the cities that you know are going to be safe. So
this city was not on our Brazil agenda.
Yes, not on our Brazil agenda. And we get there, we go to get an Uber that's like 5 blocks up from us, and as we're going up there, we had like these 2 cops, like we're waiting there with our big backpacks on, and these 2 cops pull up. They come out and like guns out, and then they go into this barber shop, pull out like these barbers or whomever it was, and like start like searching them. And we're just like sitting across the way, just like
right there, jaws dropped, like it's happening right in front of us.
What's to do? And then it's like homeless guy, or maybe not homeless. Somebody comes up to me and starts like poking me, and is like saying like he's like I translated into like, give me. Yeah. But I was like,
where there were so many backpacks, like so vulnerable, just tourists.
Should have just been asking for whatever it may be, but I was just like, this is not happening right now. I was like, this guy is really is he trying to rob us in front of 2 cops right here? Like, it was like super weird.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Tyler thinks he's dying.
I think I'm dying. And then the Uber, this is probably like hour 44 now. And like, you need to have the rabies shot. If you didn't have the pre-shot, you need to have it within 24 hours. But we did have the pre-shot, so it gives you until like 48 hours to get this other shot.
Before we went to all of our travels and got all the vaccines, we got the pre-rabies shot,
vaccine,
which basically gives you more time. If you do get bit in the middle of somewhere, it gives you more time to start the series.
Yes.
So we both had that.
Yes. So it's like hour 45. Anyways, get in the Uber, go to the hospital. Once we're at the hospital, the line is out the door because dengue, which is a mosquito illness, is going rampage there right now. And then I kind of like rushed to the front of the line, showing them my prescription. I was like, bit by a bat. And they're like, what? Bit by a bat? They're like, oh my gosh. And they kind of like pretty much like rushed me to the back. And this is a hospital where there's like hospital beds on the side in the hallway, right? Being treated. It's way too overrun. And finally I get, after like another like, I don't know, 30 or 45 minutes, like finally get the shot, the 2 like anti-serum shots. And then Alison's like stuck in the waiting room right now, like just like panicking and tearing up and FaceTiming her friends, trying to figure out what's going on. So she was going through it just as much as I was at that time. And she confirmed that was a bat bite. And then to speed up a little bit more, you have to get the shots on days. The rabies is a 4 series shot, days 0, 3, 7, and 14. And like every single time we got one of those shots, it was like just a little bit of a nightmare situation because we kept moving around, kept trying to find it. So that was always fun. But the worst part about this whole thing was there's a 10-day period of like whether you know you're going to be okay or not. So there's like, you have to a 10-day waiting period of waiting for your symptoms to come about.
Like if you have rabies or not.
If you have rabies, yeah.
So
I was just like sitting there. We were sitting there like at our hotels or whatnot. And I remember like I started to get like a little bit of sore throat, which of course is a symptom. Getting anxiety, which is of course a symptom.
Yeah.
So like I remember I was sitting at this Thai restaurant, and that's a Thai restaurant in Brazil.
Yeah.
Anyways, and I was just like went into straight panic mode. I was like just shaking because I felt like my throat swell up a little bit. And like if you drink water and you have trouble drinking water, like it's another sign of rabies. So like every time I took a sip of water, I was just like, please, no. And then I'm just shaking. I'm borderline panic attack. And I remember that was just a definitive moment. It was like, I'm going to die. I feel like I'm going to die, even though it's all in my head. But it was like one of the worst 10 days.
Yeah.
And for Alison too, she had like
very
just
scary
support system, and it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yes.
We're
here.
It's okay.
We're good.
Hopefully it was just not rabid. Yes. The series worked, and if you do go travel for a long time, good to get the pre-vaccine, which just helps the whole process.
Gives you more time.
It was crazy. Everybody in Brazil we told that he got by a bat bite, they were all like, what? Like, and it's all in Portuguese because their country is Portuguese, and so everything's through Google Translate. Like, are you sure? Not a dog? And then they'd be like, really, a bat? I'm like, yes, a bat. Yes, it was a bat. Like, it was freaking crazy.
Terrifying.
Oh my gosh. I thought the story that you were talking about was going to be like a different, like silly, funny. And I was like, oh, that would be terrifying. Because
Yeah,
I
it
can
was
only imagine, like, I've had panic attacks and I know what that's like when it's like you can't pull yourself out of it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Allison, I actually have never been able to, be on the other side where Allison has to like, because I'm sure you're freaking out too,
Yeah.
and you have to remain calm because you don't want to freak Tyler out more than he's already freaking
More
out. And it's like,
anxiety. Yeah.
you have to just, oh my gosh. Well, that's good to know that you can go get a pre-shot and
Yeah.
like if something happens, like just go get it checked out right away, even if you don't feel like anything happened. Because oh my gosh. Well, I am so grateful that you are okay and you were able to find all the shots and that like after that, like it was smooth sailing from there because
And in Brazil, it's actually a pretty amazing. Shout out to Brazil. Like all the healthcare, all the public healthcare is free for tourists and citizens. So like we didn't pay for anything. And if it was in the US, it would cost like over just Google search
Thousands
like
of dollars.
over $6,000 to go through the rabies series. And so that's a good thing to know about Brazil is like all public healthcare is free for anyone, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
It was wild.
That is incredible.
That was a crazy story, but
we have so many more of those.
Yeah, I mean,
another podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, another podcast. Well, I'm sure, like, I bet you anything, like, people are gonna want a part 3. People are gonna want a part 4. Like, the more you guys do stuff, the more exciting it's gonna be. And I'm sure, too, like, it's so cool and I'm inspiring. Like, I've had people, I told you guys this off camera, like, a couple of my sister's friends, it was her birthday last year. 2 of her friends, they were like, their guy friends, like girlfriends that I had not met, they were like, oh my gosh, I listened to your podcast about the travel and like that's something that I want to do and that's so cool. And it's like it's cool to hear your experience and understand and know like, oh, that's possible for me. Like I could go do that. Okay, I can put my savings together. Or like, especially for people if they want to do it long term, if they want to create it into a career, which like I'm of the delusion that anything you like you can make money from. Like if you're adding value, you can somehow create that into a business. And it's just so cool and inspiring to see what you guys are doing. And I know you guys are inspiring our listeners, so many people that you're touching through your social media, other travelers that you guys are meeting who are like only doing it for a month. I'm sure they're like, oh, you know what? I want to come back and I want to do what they're doing. I want to do it for the 6 months. I want to do it for the year. And I want to go to these places. So I am just so grateful that you guys wanted to come back for part 2 and talk to me about all of this. And of course, all my questions that I have. But is there any, I guess now, this isn't a question that I asked you guys last time. This is something new that I started doing. So my question now that I'm ending every episode with is, with all the knowledge that you have now, what would you tell yourself 10 years ago? Or even like if we looked at it from the standpoint of at the beginning of your travels.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Everything's gonna be okay.
I was just gonna say this.
The theme of this episode.
Everything's gonna be okay. Like you kind of, I don't know, you get so scared and freaked out that like if you do this thing that you're passionate about, that there's gonna be, I don't know, that there could be all these like negatives to it, or that you could ruin all these other things even if you're gonna go the route to do your passion, right? It's like you think you're gonna, I don't know, you think things are gonna go wrong and like set you
when
back.
Things go wrong though, that's the fun part of life.
Yeah, like that's how you grow, obviously.
Those are the experiences that you'll tell your grandkids and all this, and if everything was smooth sailing, it'd be kind of boring, right? So like,
yeah, exactly.
Mix it up a little bit. Get out there, whether it's quitting your job and traveling, or if it's quitting your job and starting a different type of career. Like just like take that leap. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like we're obviously still trying to figure that out and what's next.
Yeah.
But we know it's gonna be okay, right?
Yeah.
And it's just chill.
Yeah.
Just relax.
And we know our travel experiences, aren't finished. Like we're still growing this this travel life of ours, as we want to also have our Seattle life. We're trying to like find the balance and everything.
We love our friends and family.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest and hardest parts, right? Is missing your friends and family and and trying to stay in close contact with everybody. That's been probably another big challenge.
Yeah, that's probably the most challenging part about traveling is just like you're gone doing we're gone doing our thing and we're not around. A lot of our nieces and nephews or siblings that are growing in these really monumental years and kind of missing that, or as our friends are at home, like growing as well in their ways. So and then trying to like transition back into that. It's definitely hard because we've changed, our friends and family, people here have changed. Like, so that's the most challenging part. But a rewarding part to it all is, for example, somebody DM'd us actually yesterday. He's like, hey, my name is X. Then he does, I think he just started following us, or maybe he's been following us for a while, but he just messaged us like, hey, my name is X. I'm 19 years old. I've actually, like, I'm so inspired by you guys, and I would love to travel for 6 months or a year, and I'm trying to figure this out, but I'm terrified. Like, can you help me? Like, how did you go about it? Like, he kind of had these questions, and so that is really rewarding as well, that people can reach out to us and seek for help. There's been several people that have said that similar message, and it's exciting to get back to them and be like, oh my gosh, like, first off, I'm so excited you're planning on doing this. This was the best decision that we have ever made in our lives. And it was, and here's some things you can do to help you, or here's how you can start looking at it. And so just the fact that people come to us and like trust us, like that's so rewarding.
And anybody out there who's listening, feel free to hit us up. We will respond.
Yeah. Happy to chat with you through it and make it happen.
Yeah.
Manifest it.
Exactly. And I see guides in your guys' future and all the blog posts and all the other things
Lots
too.
of ideas.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you guys just have like unlimited number of ideas and recommendations and all the things. Well, we will have all of their tags in the show notes, but if you guys want to follow them, I'll have you guys tell us where to find you on Instagram.
Yes. And TikTok.
Yeah.
And TikTok.
You can find us at Alison with one L, so ALISON, and AND, Tyler, TYLER, Alison and Tyler Travels. So our biggest presence is on Instagram. We also have a presence on TikTok.
Trying to get better at that.
But, trying to increase the TikTok, engagement there. But so Instagram and TikTok.
And YouTube. So it's all Alison and Tyler Travels, but we're trying to build up our YouTube account. That's on me to make some drone videos, but
we're trying to take all this amazing drone footage that we have and try to, again, another idea for how to monetize on YouTube. So we will be there as well on YouTube.
Just give us some time.
Yeah, give us a little time. Oh, lots of ideas. I mean, we're thinking potential ebook, and as you mentioned, guides. So we're just getting started.
I love it. It's so exciting. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, and I'm sure I will see you guys hopefully IRL soon. And we will see you guys in the next episode.
Thank you so much, Mackenzie. You're the best. We love you.